Welcome to this week's Tuesday Tips. My name is Pam Dunwald. I am one of your nurse advocates from Your Nurse Advocates Consulting. And today our topic is on aging in place. The month of May is our month that we're dedicated to that. It is a very important trend. More and more of our aging adults are looking at that option. And as a reminder, in 2030, every single baby boomer will be 65 years of age or older. Many of them want to age in place. What does it take to age in place? There's a lot of planning and a lot of thought that has to go into that. It's very easy to say, oh, this, and my husband and I said the same thing. This is our forever home. You're going to have to drag me out of here, kicking and screaming, if I'm ever going to leave. But we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what kind of health challenges we're going to have. We don't know what the future has in store for us. So there's a lot of planning that needs to go into this. So we decided to do another free webinar. That's going to be the end of this month. It's going to be on May 22nd. And it's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and so on. And we are going to do a deep dive. We have a great workbook in store for you that's going to go through all the sections. And I'm going to run through a little bit of that today on our Tuesday Tips, just to give you an idea of if you think that this webinar might be for you and if any of the topics that we're going to cover are going to be interesting to you. So let's go ahead and let's jump into what is all going to be involved in the webinar. So our webinar, first we're going to do an introduction to aging in place. And we're going to talk about why that we touched a little bit on our 3 trends webinar, but we did not have enough time to do justice to aging in place. And so we're going to go a little bit more into the hows and the whys there. We're going to go over the benefits. What are the benefits? There's some obvious ones, such as, my house is paid for. I want to live here. I don't want to go anywhere else. But we're going to talk about what some of the challenges are. And I know we touched a little bit about that in a previous Tuesday Tips. But we're going to go into home safety and modifications. We are going to open up. We're going to give you access to one of our Senior Care Summit videos from our series of our 34 videos from our Senior Care Summit that we released in the beginning of March. And one of those videos is done by a interior designer that works for a local store called the Board Store. And they do home remodeling. They have their own contractors. And so she did a really great job of deep diving into what do you need to do to make a bathroom safe. She goes into, I asked some hard questions, and a lot of times, people say, okay, what are the pros and cons of those walk-in tubs? We hear a lot of information about how great they are. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of walk-in tubs. And it's interesting. I'm excited for you to be able to hear her take on that, but we're going to make that video available for you as a resource that will be in your workbook when you register for the webinar on aging in place. So we're going to look at home safety modifications, and not just the bathroom, but all around. We're going to look at community resources and support. When you think about aging in place, they might be alone. They may be aging with their spouse. But what if you live, 2,000 miles away? What if you live 4 hours away? As they continue to age, they're going to be able to do less and less for themselves. So what kind of support, what kind of resources are going to be available to continue to support them in place? So we're going to look at that. We are going to look at building a care team. Actually, we are going to be doing a separate, this summer, we're going to be doing a separate boot camp. That'll be a paid boot camp, but we are actually going to help you build your care team. So that's called Blueprint on Building a Care Team on a Budget is going to be that boot camp. So we're going to talk about, we're going to give you lots of ideas as far as building a care team, and that's really going to be important. We're going to look at not only the care team, but we're going to look at financial and legal considerations. We're going to provide you with some of our resources on estate planning and also advanced directives, living wills, all those kind of things. So that is important for successful aging in place as well. We're going to talk about the role of healthcare providers and patient advocates. We're going to talk about how your healthcare professionals can help with the aging in place process. And we're going to touch on just how an advocate such as ourselves can have an impact in helping you make your plan and help you consider a lot of your healthcare decision making as far as deciding to age in place. So we're going to look at some case studies. We're going to look at some success stories. We're going to look at how we've been able to help people age in place and what does that look like? What did we have to pull together to make that? We're going to share a story about someone with Alzheimer's disease that the husband said his one wish for us as an advocate helping him and his wife was to keep her at home. He did not want her to go anywhere. He wanted her to stay home with her. And that was a very challenging case for us because of a lot of the issues that came up out of having the Alzheimer's. So we're gonna talk about that case study and how we were able to help keep her at home. And we are going to let's see. We talked about the home safety modifications. We talked about technical support. That's another one. So with the technical support, what types of things can we use? I mean, there's automatic pill dispensers, medication dispensers that will send an app to, say, a caregiver's, will send a notice to a caregiver's phone through an app that tells them if they didn't take their medicine, if it didn't dispense correctly. There's, our door cams, there's doorbell cams, there's telehealth, there's all kinds of things. So we're going to touch base on technology as well. And we mentioned legal and financial, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up. And like I said, we are going to have a lot of resources for you in the resource section of our workbook. And the workbook is going to be, some fill in the blanks. It's going to be some, writing out some answers, because like our trends webinar, we wanted this webinar to be interactive in the sense that you can take what you're learning and what we're reviewing and jot down notes and how these particular items or things that we talk about are going to pertain to your unique individual situation with your family, because it's not a one size fits all. Everybody is different. Every situation is different. There is absolutely no cookie cutter way to put a plan in place for an aging loved one to age in place. Everybody has different things that we need to take into consideration. So we're going to have you, write some of your thoughts. We're going to have you jot down, what does the vision of aging in place look like to you? I mean, how would you like that to go? So we're going to have a lot of interactive things that are going to go on with our workbook and with our webinar. And so some of the resources, we're going to talk about having a plan B. What happens if we've done everything that we possibly can to help you age in place and it's no longer safe? What's our plan B? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how do you know when your aging parents need help in the home. We have some free resources from that. We've got a great resource from the Institute on Aging that's going to give you some extra things regarding aging in place. And along with, we've got a nice home safe, a worksheet. It's a checklist on home safety that we're going to provide for you. And also our handout on 10 steps you must know to care for your aging parents. So we've got all of this in store for you. Again, the webinar is it's free, and it is going to be on Wednesday, May 22nd at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And we are really excited because this is going to be a really deep dive. We're not going to talk about any subject except aging in place and how we can make that possible. And for those of you that may want to use us or use our services to help put that plan in place, we are also going to be available for that. But we will talk more about that at the webinar. So we look forward to seeing you there. I'm excited to do this webinar. This is a webinar that's really close to my heart. Linda and I both have over 20 years apiece in home health and hospice. So half of our careers have been in helping people stay, age in place and stay at home and get their healthcare needs met in the comfort of their own home. So that's a very much a passion for us to help people age in place. So this is an exciting webinar for us because we feel very strongly, and it's a good feeling for us to be able to help someone stay in their home for as long as humanly possible. that is just a great feeling for us. So stay tuned for more information. We're going to put the registration link in the comments, so feel free to get us registered. What'll happen is you'll register for the webinar, and then we are putting the final touches on the workbook. So as soon as that's done, I will send you out the workbook within a day or two of registration, and then you will be all set to go. And the webinar, we will record that. So if for some reason, obviously it's always best if you can attend the webinar in person, because then you can ask questions. We can address these things in real time. But if something comes up and you're not able to attend, we are going to record it. So those of you that register will get the replay. So that will be available for you as well. So we look forward to seeing you. I'm excited to do this webinar for you. And if you have any questions or anything comes up, please just let us know. And this is going to be for Tuesday Tips. I see we've had a couple people with us. If you have any questions right now, I'd be very happy to answer them. And just all you have to do is just post them in the comment, and I will be able to see them. And I'll just hang on just for a minute to see if anyone has a question. But otherwise, I will. Let me see if I can, before we go, let me see if I can go ahead and put the link for the registration right away in our comments while we're doing this senior summit. So let me see if I can do that for us right now before I go ahead and close this out. And I should be able to do this very quickly here. Here we go. All right. And I'm going to post that in the comment. So here is the link to go ahead and register for the webinar. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post it also on the screen here. And with that being said, I don't see any other comments, but now you have the link. So hopefully we'll see everyone there. Bring your questions, bring your comments, and we'll get them answered for you. So with that being said, we'll see you next week for another Tuesday Tips. Take care.